So it got delayed a bit. Thank you for understanding, and let's quickly get on to the session. Okay, so good evening and welcome to all our viewers and attendees who joined us for the webinar today. And the session is going live in our respective FB pages, YouTube and LinkedIn. A very warm welcome to all the viewers, and it feels amazingly wonderful to see you all joining this beautiful Sunday morning. Thank you so much. And this is Swarna, and on behalf of Pick a Book, I'm going to moderate this session for our lovely audience here. Okay. So we are extremely happy and delighted for the kind of love and support we are getting in our Flipside series. And thank you all. It's because of you we are inspired to bring in new books and insights into our discussion. So quickly, for those of you who are new to Pick a Book is all about reading and inculcating the habit of reading. Changing the sense of self is a vision of Pick a Book. So if you want to know more, please log on to pickabook.club. It's a website, and we are there on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn as well. So this is a Flipside special edition series. In this series, we're going to discuss books under various subject matters by the eminent panelists. We have started this edition to bring in successful people onto the show and to share their success stories and their journey with books and reading. So we're so proud and happy to have hosted some wonderful people so far, the best-selling authors, the entrepreneurs, the leaders of Pick a Book, the young readers, and now a proud addition to our Flipside special edition, a sportsman and a coach. So yes, today in our special edition Flipside series, we are bringing in for you the former opening batsman who represented India at the highest levels of international cricket and former coach of Indian women's national cricket team. So a very warm welcome to you, sir.
Thank you very much, and thanks for having me on what seems to be a great platform.
Thank you, sir. So, ladies and gentlemen, who doesn't remember that elegant cover drive of Craig Williams by Wookeri Venkatraman against South Africa in 1992 Centurion ODI, as the stylish left-handed opener became the first ever Indian to score a century against South Africa. The 56-year-old Raman played in 11 tests and 27 ODIs from 1988 to 1997, scoring 448 and 617 runs, respectively. So he scored 4 test 50s and with 96 against New Zealand in Christchurch in 1990 as his highest. So he became a coach guiding India under-19 teams, Tamil Nadu Ranji Trophy sides, and recently the Indian women's team to great results. So he guided the likes of Virat Kohli and Ravindra Jadeja, Manish Pandey, Prithvi Shaw, Shubham Gill, to name just a few. In their under 19 days before they went on to become the superstars in the world of cricket. So Mr. Raman has now become a television broadcaster, calling the game on the recent Sri Lanka versus India limited over series, and will be commentating on the upcoming test series in England. So not only Mr. Raman has made his prospered in the world of cricket with his unparalleled knowledge on the gentleman's game, but has now turned into an author with his recently launched book, The Winning Sixer, which is receiving terrific reviews. So it's a glad welcome that we bring you onto the show this evening, sir.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, so ladies and gentlemen, without any delay, let's quickly get on to know more about him and his book from the author himself. So yes, so sir, this would be my typical first question, to our Pick a Book, beloved Pick a Book guests, because we believe readers are leaders. So were you an avid reader? How did the habit of reading started and how it helped you?
Yeah, I definitely was an avid reader, continue to be one, and hopefully I will continue to be in the future also. That is something that everybody needs to do as much as they can, because reading not only broadens your knowledge base, but it also provides a lot of learnings, which is very important. It's not that you stop learning once you're out of college or once you're finished with your academics. You need to be having an open mind to learn as much as you can every day of your life. because not only change is a constant in life, but in order to keep up with the changes and with the world, you need to be constantly reading to know what's happening around you, what is it that you need to do to try and keep up with the others, and also try and make some sense of what your life is all about. So, given all these considerations, I think it will be a worthwhile habit for everybody to pick up reading. Uh, I picked up reading primarily because when I was growing up, you need to obviously do something to keep yourself occupied. And if all your friends are busy elsewhere or doing something else, or if they were shy of uh, being social with others, the only recourse left those days was to walk into a library and read something to while away your time. Now I'm talking about mid 70s onwards, so which meant that books were expensive because the earning power of the earlier generation was not that much. It is no criticism on anybody, but that's how life was. Then you needed to go out into a library, try and see what you can grab to read, and that's how you satiated your hunger for knowledge and also for your reading habit.
Great, sir. Very nice to hear that reading has been a greater part in your life. Thanks to know that. What is your inspiration to write this book, sir? And is there any story that lies behind giving this title, particularly The Winning Sixer?
I felt that as a coach over a period of time, I felt that the younger generation on two counts are having the short end of the stick. One was that they were being downloaded with a lot of things. Whether they liked it or not, they were also happy to be led by people rather than evolving themselves. So I felt that that is not something which is an encouraging sign for the younger generation and as an extension for our society. I felt that everybody should try and uh, tap the reserves that they have within them, because I was one who always believed that each one of us can be a leader. There's a leader in each one of us, and we need to unleash that leader in us. We can't be waiting for somebody to always guide us, or we can't take a stance that you need leadership qualities or management skills only when you have a post at the top of the ladder, like a CEO or the leader of a state or nation or whatever. Leadership and management is required at all levels, like I mentioned, citing various examples in my book.
So on that beautiful note that everybody, there's a leader within you. So it's just needed that you have to unleash them. So this book is a great help to everybody out there to unleash the leader within us. So thank you for that. And ladies and gentlemen, please put in your questions you want to ask Raman sir in Q&A section right below your screen. And don't use the chat box because we may miss your question. So whatever the question you want to ask, you can just directly put it in the Q&A section. Okay. So before that, we would like to extend a warm welcome to Mr. Vijay Lokapalli. So he's here with us. And
is he there? Good morning, Vijay. What are you doing on a Sunday morning, participating in all this?
So Rajiv, can you just put him onto the panel? It'll be great. So for you, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Vijay Lokapalli and Mr. G. Krishnan they are both sports journalists and best buddies of Mr. W.V. Raman. And they are the authors for the book, The Hitman, the Rohit Sharma Story. So if we could have them onto the panel, it'd be great. Yes, he is here. Hello, sir.
Yeah, good morning, Raman. I was waiting for you only to listen to you. In fact,
oh, nice of you. Good to hear from you. Anyway, all well?
I finished reading all the papers and also.
Good man.
In fact,
What's new? Tell me.
I have a question. I have a question for you.
Yeah.
You know, how much of cricket travel and how much of cricket, how much of the experience on field helped you to pen this book? I mean, how much of it came from your cricket travel and playing cricket?
Yeah, part of it, yes, as a result of playing cricket and knowing others and interacting with others. But by and large, I felt what really helped me was my reading habit. Now, if you say cricket contributed 50%, I would say my reading contributed to the other 50%. Because if I were not to be an avid reader, I would not have picked up a lot of things on what Richard Branson has done, what does he do in his business, or I wouldn't have known about Robert Kiyosaki, and various others that I have brought in to sort of illustrate my point. So reading habit is something that is important. And I also read a lot of authors saying that you need to be reader for you to become an author, because they said if you have to write, you need to know what is it that a reader is looking to get out of that book, and would a reader enjoy. You got to put yourself in the shoes of a reader. But obviously you know better than most people, Vijay, that being a writer, you need to try and understand what it is the reader would prefer you to convey. How would you convey it? So if I were not to read and become a reader, I would not have known how to convey what I want to convey. Along that line, again, reading habit helped me quite a lot.
Thank you. Thank you.
It's like simple. It's if you want to be a leader, you have to be a good team player. Otherwise, you can't be a leader yourself.
Correct. Yeah.
Greatly said, sir. Thank you, Vijay, sir, for that wonderful question. Yes. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, before we dive deep into what the book actually talks about, so the audience are very interested to know when and how the cricket happened to you, sir.
Oh, it happened a long time ago. Obviously, like any other kid those days, I did two things. One was that I breathed. The other thing, I played cricket. So primarily, I started playing cricket to make friends and to, again, as I said earlier, like reading. I wanted to do something to keep myself occupied and while away some time. So once I'm done with school, I'll try and gather as many uh, guys around my neighborhood and see if they are playing. I'll go join them, or else I'll initiate a game of cricket with a piece of wood and a lot of papers rolled into a ball and then fastened by clipped rubber tubes. So that's how we would do anything and everything to try and keep ourselves occupied. If you're a mid 60 born, people will relate to what I'm saying, but millennials will not understand about the ball being rolled and fastened by rubber tubes snipped into cylinders. They won't understand that because they've got everything on demand, so they won't even imagine what it was like. But that served us well because you needed to evolve in everything. I think that is exactly, perhaps in a way, subconsciously triggered this particular thought process in my head before I penned this book. And as an extension, I carried on with that viewpoint and wanted to propagate the fact that you need to evolve yourself by doing a lot of things. You can't be waiting for others to sort of, initiate the process and help you carry through the process, and also help you follow up with whatever it is that you started and you gone through.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much. That it's hilarious actually to know that. But then gully cricket with gully boys is always about some special memories throughout your life. Yes.
It used to be great fun. It used to be great fun. Make no mistakes about it.
Yes, great. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, the book is not about MS Dhoni's final six in the World Cup finale, which gave us our second World Cup, but about the leadership lessons given by Mr. Cricketer to all class of people. So this book is not written in a manner which impresses only the business or top management class of people. A student, a salesman, a fresher, a new joinee, a manager, a CEO, or even a person who is never going to lead any kind of a team. So this book is for you all. So go and grab it and quickly and start and enjoy reading it. So you'll have life.
Swarna, they all need to be leaders, because I've said that even a homemaker is a leader. She has to manage a lot of things. So yes, when you said that even if you are in no way going to be a leader, that is something that doesn't go well with what I'm trying to say. Everybody can be a leader in his or her own way. whatever the magnitude and whatever the sphere of life they're in.
Great. So yes, maybe the perspective totally changes after going through this book for sure. So great. So okay, so you being a cricketer and a renowned coach, it's usually expected from you to talk about cricket and the stories on the field, but you rather choose to talk about leadership in your book. So, what is called leadership according to you, and what is that you want to speak on leadership, splitting them into 10 different chapters in this book?
See, what I've tried to do is overall, I've said what it is that the leader needs, and then I've tried to explain each particular attribute that would go into the framework of a good leader. We will not have all the 10 attributes in the same measure. We'll have the attributes in different measures. For example, some might be fantastic decision makers by nature, but they may not be good planners. They might be good planners and decision makers, but in terms of implementing, they may not be good. They might have these 3 attributes, but they may not be able to form a team with the right resources to make this possible. Which means that a leader needs to have a lot of attributes. He needs to don multiple roles so that, he sort of guides, I'm not saying leads, he guides the team, to the objectives that either the company has set or the team wants to achieve, like, winning a World Test Championship or a World Cup or whatever the competitive event may be. So for all those things to be achieved, people have to work together as a team and go on. And in a team, it's only natural that one gets nominated as a captain, in as much as one goes on to become a CEO in a company. Now, when you have a team of 11 guys playing cricket, all 11 cannot be captain. Now, that's a disaster here. So that is not a likely scenario at all. And the other important thing is a lot of responsibility and accountability comes along with leadership or the title of a captain, because you need to ensure that you create an atmosphere and you create a culture wherein you are just guiding them. Now, you're not being, sort of a Hitler, and you're not being one who's always making the others look over their shoulder in fear. You are just trying to encourage, motivate them to bring the best in them. That is important, to bring the best out of them. That is what your role is. I would say that a leader has to basically be one who likes to nudge and also, get into the trenches along with his team members if need be. Now, he can't be saying, okay, boys, I'll just supervise you guys doing things while I sort of engage in thinking about my fantasies. No, that can't happen. He has to be very much a core part of the team, very much a person who can perhaps do 10 various functions as against his team members who would only be good at doing one particular function, which means he has to be a fantastic all-rounder of sorts. And that's not difficult. If you put your mind to it, I promise you it can be done.
Yes, sir. Greatly said. So I can't agree more on this. So ladies and gentlemen, a gentle reminder for you all to put your questions in your in Q&A section, because I see some questions rolling up in the chat box. So, we may miss them. So don't take a chance. So just put it in the Q&A section. Thank you. Okay, so when it comes to the book, it greatly talks about 5 C's and 5 T's. So what are they, and what is that they conveyed to this book in brief?
See, what I've tried to do is I've always tried to bring it down to one particular letter. I've used a number. Like, for example, I cannot get hold of an acronym for the words that I'm trying to stress, which goes to describe the qualities required for leadership. Like communication, all those conviction, all those things. That is why I felt it is easy for me to use the 5 C's. Okay. So which meant that they'll say, okay, then they'll start to trigger the memory. What are the 5 C's? Okay, you would say communication, you would say then courage, or various things like that. So that being the case, in the 5 C's, interestingly enough, I have not used courage, even though I mentioned that word now, because I've said that courage by itself is not an ally. Either it will make you a kind of a brash leader, or you would probably, end up doing things which would not be the right course of action to take at times, because you are just driven by courage on its own. But I've said, if you have all the other attributes, and if you have the conviction and everything else, communication, the connect and whatnot, I said that this will provide enough courage for you to go ahead with whatever you have to do as a leader. So courage on its own is not a great ally. Yes, you need to have the courage. Generally, people think to take decisions, but it's not just courage alone. It's various other elements that provide you the courage.
Great, sir. Thank you. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's a beautiful lessons given in this book, talking about 5 C's and 5 T's. So, just to give you a brief on that, so it's like how Raman sir said, it's not just one that works. It has to be a mix of 5 C's and 5 T's. So, to name a few, it's like courage, credibility, clarity, connect, control, and conviction. And 5 T's talk about truth, time, tango, thrift, and your tricks. So, all this put together in different chapters that brings you out the qualities of leader, and how it makes a perfect leader to be born out of you. So yes, so great lessons there. Thank you so much. And lastly, before we open up for Q&A, we would like to hear one inspiring story from your experiences, sir, with other players, and as if through that a message to the younger generation through your story.
See, I think the greatest kind of inspiration that cricketers of our generation had was the way in which a Gavaskar or a Kapil Dev would talk to the younger cricketers. They're all legends. They're all looked upon with awe. But if you were to go up to them as youngsters who were keen to learn and who are keen to sort of find out as to what to do to get better, the kind of interest that they took and the kind of knowledge that they imparted was something mind-boggling, because you wouldn't expect them to do that. Not because they don't know, it's just that there are so many people who would approach them. So it can become very sort of irritating to start with, annoying much later, because anybody and everybody would go to them. The patience that they need to have to sort of answer to everybody, very politely and also in detail, and also, give the time that each different individual might want. It could have been really, a great test for their capabilities off the field, mind you. The problem was that they had no problems on the field. They could take on anybody, they could overcome anybody. But this, I think, would have been a great challenge for them in life. And I thought was fantastic, and that obviously was inspiration. When you have these great guys taking the time and interest to be nice to you and talk to you and make you feel comfortable, and also say a lot of encouraging words to the next generation of cricketers, I thought was phenomenal.
Yes. Great. So leaders always lead by example, like you said. Thank you on that. Yes. Okay, sir. So before we just move on to Q&A from the audience, so we would like to have a quick rapid fire with you. So if you give us permission.
No, you would ask, it would only take one bullet to shoot me. Yeah, why need rapid fire?
So in a way, you're saying because you're not journalists, so to put you in trouble with the question.
No, I'm not talking along those lines. Okay, carry on.
That's just for fun. So, so what is your first ever book you have read?
The Ghost, I think the Cops Who Walks or something like that. James Hadley Chase, I think.
Okay, so great. So what is your favorite?
That was about black magic. That's all I can remember. I can't remember the title well enough.
Okay. Okay, good. So what is your favorite quote, sir?
Favorite quote: stay calm, carry on.
Simple and sweet. Okay, your inspiration in cricket.
My inspiration in cricket. Oh, that's a difficult one. My inspiration in cricket would obviously be a Salim Durrani.
Okay, good. Your first memory of playing cricket in your childhood.
In a corridor, my mother underarming a ball to me, And I don't know how many balls I made contact, but that's how I remember that.
Okay, good. So, how was your first reaction when you selected for Team India? What was your first reaction?
Selected to India, in not as much there at the top level, because generally you get a kind of a feel, or you would know depending on how you've done in the immediate preceding thing. But I think the the kind of pleasant shock came when I was first selected for the school team, because
Okay.
I just happened to be there in that selection by accident, and I just batted three deliveries. And next day when the school management announced the team, I was there in the team. I said, no, no, there's something wrong with this list. I shouldn't be there. That's how I used to be.
Okay, good. Okay, so if you're not a cricketer, what would you be?
I could have done anything that I put my mind to. There's no doubt in that. I would have perhaps been a lawyer, or I would have perhaps gone on to become engineering MBA graduate, masters. I would have done. I would have done anything I put my mind to.
Okay, great. So, what is your favorite pastime, sir?
Reading, of course. Then I do crosswords.
Okay.
And I listen to music. Now these days, I play a fair bit of golf. So that's how I try and do some physical activity while keeping my mind sane.
So that's a great way of passing time instead of wasting time on different things. That itself is a message for all of us, ladies and gentlemen. Just utilize your time properly with right habits in place. Thank you. Thank you so much, Mr. Raman, for joining us today. It's a great, great, great honor and privilege to have you with us, and we will cherish this day forever.
Thank you very much, and very nice of Pick a Book to have me in their platform, and also do what they did, that is promoting my book and also eulogizing me, which is rather, a bit sometimes over the top at times. But anyway, thanks a lot for all your kind words and all the nice things that was mentioned about me in this particular period of time. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And before we move on to question, we would also like to say our thanks to Vani Garu. She's a book mentor. She has done all the coordination and made this all happen today. So thank you so much, Vani Garu. And Rajiv, if you can just put her onto the panel for once, so you can just do that. And okay, so we are grateful to each and everyone who are there at this in this room, ladies and gentlemen. We are opening the Q&A section now. So Mr. Raman is quickly going to take your questions. Hello, Vani Garu. Thank you so much for all the help.
Thank you, Swarna. It's my pleasure and warm welcome, Raman sir. Sorry for the technical glitch which happened in the beginning.
No,
it is very good to have you here, sir, once again.
Thank you very much. Not at all. It's just that these things happen. It's just that the only kind of momentum gets a little bit disrupted when you have 2-3 things to do. That's
true, sir. True. Thank you so much for the patience, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, so we have a question from Sanjaya. He says, whose work ethic as a player have you admired from the players you have coached? What was special about them?
From the players I played with, or with the ones I coached?
You coach.
From the ones I coached, work ethics. I would say perhaps Mithali Raj. Okay. And then I would also talk about Lakshmipati Balaji. The other person that I can think of is perhaps obviously what Kohli has done in the preceding few years is something phenomenal, and a lot of people admire him for that. I can't necessarily say about him because I did a small stint with him, and after that I'm not really been a part of teams that he's been. Presumably he also should be ranking very, very high up there. And of course over and above all these people, it's a real sort of hero in the sense of work ethics is Harmanpreet Kaur, because she is very diligent. She even eats by keeping alarm on her phone. So that's the kind of meticulous regimen that she has.
Great, sir. Thank you so much. And Mr. Rajesh is asking, what kind of research is needed to write a book?
First, you need to understand yourself as to whether you are passionate about that book. If you don't have the passion, if your motive is going to be something else, then I think it's not going to really sort of inspire you. It will not allow you to complete the book. In terms of research, that you'll automatically do once you're passionate about, because I told you some time ago that we would cycle miles to go into a library and read a book, or to find a book that we need for reference to complete a school project or whatever. So if you're passionate enough, if you're convinced enough, if you have the conviction that is going to be something very useful for the people, that is going to propel you into doing whatever it takes to do research, or whatever it takes you to do in terms of getting to meet people or begging people for giving you the meat that you want for the book. So I have no fears, but the important thing is your passion.
Right. Perfect. So one of the guests wanted to know what one profound leadership lesson that you have learned as a cricketer as part of the Team India.
The simple thing is that don't tell others, or don't expect others to do what you yourself will not do.
It's simple and straight and well enough question answer for all the questions. Great. So here's a question from Vanigaru. What is the special moment as a coach of women cricket team? So how you look leadership led by young girls? How you encourage them?
I always tell them to do things without any fear, because you cannot think of what could be, what will be if it goes wrong, any decisions that you take. No, you have to develop that habit of taking decisions, because not everybody is going to have 100% record in terms of decision making. So you need to increase your percentage of making successful decisions, or decisions which will be proved successful later on. But for that to happen, you need to develop that fearlessness and the habit of making decisions without getting distracted of thinking what could be, what might be, what will people say. All other considerations have to be thrown into the dustbin.
Great. Okay, so a guy, I think he's from Sri Lanka, must be. Who is your favorite Sri Lankan cricketer, past or present?
My favorite Sri Lankan cricketer is definitely Arjuna Ranatunga, for the simple reason that he played for Sri Lanka when he was very young, and then he saw the growth of the Sri Lankan cricket. He contributed as a player, and then as a captain, he goes on to forge a unit which is comprised of talented cricketers, but which was also something that became, under his leadership, a group of cricketers that were prepared to take on the best in the business, and they win the World Cup in 1996. So all things considered, I would put Arjuna as my favorite cricketer.
Okay. So I think this is a question from a young child. I think he's asking, as children, we have played a lot on book cricket. Did you play book cricket during your school days?
Of course I did. I have no fears. In fact, especially when the maths master was going on about, taking it for granted that we all knew or we all understood what he said, we would resort to book cricket quietly here, beneath the desk. So don't worry, everybody has done all this in the past. You are doing it now. There will be a lot more kids doing it in the future also. So don't worry about that.
Good. Okay, so other person, another guest wants to know who bowled the first ball you faced at the international level. What was the
Oh,
result? What was the
I,
result? Were you tensed? How did you handle the situation?
no, I had no reason to be tense in my at the start of my career. I think it is perhaps Courtney Walsh in Eden Gardens in a one-day game. I think, to the best of my recollection. I
Okay.
can't be absolutely certain. If you ask me to take a witness stand and swear to that, I can't. But this is what I think it was, because it happened a long time ago. Don't forget that.
Okay, so this one more anonymous attendee, he didn't give his name. So he says he's a passionate cricketer, though he's not a master of the game, but he loves playing cricket. He's now in his 40s. So is it too late to start cricket coaching to better my game?
The coaching is not too late, but the fact is that don't nurse too many ambitions as a player at 40. If you have been playing all along, if you've been playing competitive cricket, yes, fine. Age is just a number. But to make a fresh start, to be productive as a player, I think it's a little bit late. But I'm not saying give up playing cricket. Play cricket, enjoy, have the fun. But in terms of becoming a coach, it's not late at all.
Okay. So Rishi Patel wants to know, sir, how was your experience when you were coach of under-19 and national women's team?
Each team and each level and each vertical will have its own challenges, and that's what makes it interesting. Otherwise, it'll be boring. If there are no challenges, if it's all straightforward, if everything is known to you when you embark on doing something, when you embark on a challenge, then it's going to be boring. You're going to say, what's life here? Absolutely nothing. I'll walk into the sea. There has to be some excitement. There has to be uncertainty. Otherwise, you are defeating the purpose of God having given you the brains to work problems out. And let's face it, if there are no problems, most of us will not have jobs.
Yeah, I think we have come to end of the questions. Thank you so much for being so patient and sporty enough to answer all these questions. Thank you so much from Pickabook team. Raglan, are you here?
Yes, Varna.
So Raman sir, he's Mr. Raglan. He's one of the founders for Pickabook.
Yeah, I think I met the other founder in the earlier session.
Yeah,
Hi,
he's
sir. Good to see
Hi,
you. Thank
how
you
are
so
you?
much for coming. I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm all right, thanks.
I just wanted to quote one line from your books. It says, greatness is made of persistent repetition of the simplest of practices. Wonderful, sir. I really like that line. Thank you so
Thank
much
you.
for coming and gracing this occasion, and it's a pleasure listening to you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for being here today. And we really appreciate you all took time from your daily schedules to be with us today, this morning. And I hope you have enjoyed the session. I'm sure you did, because all your messages say so, for sure. So thank you so much. So when it comes to Pickabook, it's all about reading, and so much has been said about reading today by our guest, Mr. Raman. So nothing like it. And so just get a reading going on in your life. So anyone who is willing to join Pickabook or bring Pickabook to your city, just email us to admin@pickabook.club, and the website details and everything will be provided in the chat box for you later. So thank you, everyone. I hope you all had a wonderful time. Thank you, sir, once again. Thank you, Raghu. Thank you, Anigaru. And thank you all, everybody, all the viewers and attendees who are in the room and who are watching us live today. So thank you so much. We are grateful to all of you. We hope to see you again with different personality, with different book and more insights. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Raman sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye.